we have some news to share with you. And before we get into it, I do want to welcome and learn more about our wonderful panelists here for today's Campfire Chat. So let's go right into it. Brent.
Hi, everybody.
This is your first. This is Brent's first time up here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Wardrobe.
I know.
Look, it's for a very good reason.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Green
We're breaking a little
for-
color tradition up here.
Green for Diablo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so my name is Brent Gibson. I'm an associate game director on Diablo IV. I was a part of the Vicarious Visions team that came together with Team 3 years ago to make Diablo IV. And I'm really excited to be up here today to talk a little bit about the expansion coming up.
Yes, the expansion. Ooh.
Love you too!
Now, I know we have multiple teams, Brent,
Yes.
that are working on Diablo IV. So, and you yourself are going to be talking specifically about the expansion here today. So yeah, it's great to hear that, we have multiple groups working on the game for Diablo IV.
But we're all one big team, which is the exciting part.
Yeah, very, very big team. And of course, based off of community feedback and everything that we've heard, those groups are going to be working on seasons and upcoming items, and then of course the expansion that we have here. Next up, though, we actually have Tiffany, who's going to be talking here.
Actually,
do we have? No, we do.
Oh, hey, I'm Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany.
I was not pausing for applause. I'm just awkward. But this is my 14th Blizzcon. It's my 9th as an employee. I first attended as a part of the community in 2005, so it's really special to be up here. I've worked on the Diablo franchise for 12 years now, starting on Diablo 3 12 years ago, and then moving on to Diablo 4 for the past years. Brent and I actually unknowingly worked on the same game back in 2009, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Yeah, that game was awesome.
It's a big throwback.
So it's been such a thrill to work with him and a bunch of the others from the Albany office, again, on Diablo 4 for the past few years.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany. We have Kaylee Calder here. Kaylee is actually a familiar face on the Diablo side. You may have seen her in some of the videos. For our seasons and everything. Kaylee?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Kaylee Calder, and I am one of the lead game producers on Diablo 4. Like Tiffany and a lot of our team, I have been working on Diablo for the last 10 years across both Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. This is my first time on stage at Blizzcon, so while I am so honored, thank you. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. I'm a little nervous, but it's so good to see everyone in person. And I'm really excited to talk to you all today about some changes coming to Season 2, some additions, and other future developments.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaylee. And of course, we have Mr. Joe Shelley here, a very familiar face on all our Diablo 4 Campfire Chats. Joe, welcome again.
Thank you, Adam, and thank all of you. I really want to thank all of you for being here and submitting questions. We're going to take questions at the end. And really, for all the feedback that you've given us throughout the launch of the game and Season 1, it's incredible to have a Campfire Chat, but with this huge array of other attendees at our campfire. So it's incredible.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Joe. And of course, I am Adam Fletcher. I'm the Director of Community for Diablo. Thank you. So weird with an audience. And I will be today's host and moderator. I want to thank you all again for taking the time to join us on this very special Diablo 4 Campfire Chat. And I do also want to give a huge call out to this amazing plush campfire that we did bring in for this. I joked it's got very soft lighting. Ha ha ha. There we go. First pun of the day. We're doing well. But to kick off activities, I know the dev team, they do actually have some news to follow up regarding yesterday's announcements. So let me actually pass it off to the team. So, Brent?
Yeah, we're really excited to show the sneak peek for the next chapter of Hatred. We've been on pins and needles to share some of the information from the expansion for a very long time. And it's going to be taking us to a brand new place. And it's really cool because it's actually in contrast to that dark Gothic setting that we're used to seeing in the main game. We're going to go to some place that has a bit of a different flavor. So for those of you who are new to the franchise, it's going to be new, it's going to be fresh. But for some of you who have been with us all along, we're going to go take a trip down memory lane and actually go to a place that's a little nostalgic. So with that being said, let's take a look.
We have each played a part in what has happened here. You abdicated your choice to this child. And with every step she takes, I grow stronger. There will be no salvation in the light.
There we have it. It's so cool to see on the big stage, you know, Diablo IV, Vessel of Hatred, coming in late 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, Brent, what does an expansion mean for Diablo IV?
Well, first off, I want to talk a little bit about breaking the color convention. You've been giving me
I've got green shoes
all
on.
sorts of grief over my green jacket. I like the green. Yeah, so for us, expansions are important because it's a great opportunity to take one big cohesive step forward. You know, when it comes to continuing our dark story, exploring the new region we're going to talk about today, or even new ways to play with new monsters and a new class, we want to make sure that all of these things go together in a really nice way. And I've been joking for a little bit about how this is kind of like making a really good burger, right? You want to make sure that you're pulling in all of the ingredients that you need so that when they all come together and you take one big bite, all those flavors are working together. And so for us, that cohesiveness is really important.
So you say burger. There are a lot of variations of burgers. There's like single burgers or like maybe a double-double from In-N-Out or something like that.
So hungry now.
Yeah. What,
You know, coming from Albany, the In-N-Out, I'm down. That's great.
So what kind of burger is this?
That's a good question. You know, I guess I look at it as kind of like a bacon barbecue burger with all the classic ingredients, but with like jalapenos, right? Like throw something in that's a little bit spicy, a little bit different.
And a little bit green.
And a little bit green, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Apparently.
So yeah, we want to make sure that we have all the nice traditional ingredients that speak directly to the core of our audience, but we're also offering things that are new.
Awesome. Well, I know with Vessel of Hatred, a new expansion, there's going to be some story and lore kind of attached to it. And let's kind of talk a little bit more about story. What do you think, Tiffany?
Yeah, so when we last left off in the main campaign, Nerel was traveling south with the stone with Mephisto. He got himself trapped in there again, as you know he tends to do. She's been following the footsteps of a prophet of light, looking for a way to deal with this stone and the prime evil that's trapped within. Now, she's a really fascinating character because she's a child, but she's been through a ton of trauma, so spoilers if you haven't played the main campaign of Diablo. But here she is directly challenging the influence of a prime evil, something the Haradrim have always famously failed at. So for players that might be jumping into Diablo IV for the first time with the Vessel of Hatred, they'll have the choice to either play through the main campaign or jump directly into the new chapter. There will be a recap in the game, so you'll have full context to all the events of Sanctuary that played out in the main campaign. So don't worry, you won't miss out on anything if you want to just see what's happening with Nerel and explore those jungles. All right, I love this picture. He's real creepy. It looks like he's coming out of a mud bath of sorts. So this is Mephisto. Now, he is my favorite prime evil. I think he's just a badass. If you don't know who he is the Lord of Hatred, and he is the father of Lilith. So I believe that makes him...
Yeah, Granddaddy Mephisto.
Granddaddy
here.
of Sanctuary.
Grand Fisto?
Grand
Yeah, something
Fisto.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Sounds grouchy too.
So Mephisto did not intend to be trapped in the stone. Like I said, they're very bad at that. It tends to happen. So he's, as you heard in the trailer, every step of the way that Neyrelle is taking with him, he is pushing against her, constantly trying to unravel every single moment that they have together. It's in this next chapter in Vessel of Hatred, we're going to find out what is his fate with this stone and what's going to happen with Neyrelle.
Yeah, so with Vessel of Hatred, we even saw it a little bit in the teaser. It seems like we're actually going to be, it's going to be taking us to a new place. I know you guys have actually mentioned Nahantu. Can you tell us a little bit more about Nahantu, Brett?
Yeah, so we're going to a whole new region called Nahantu. Now, for those of you guys who know the history of Sanctuary, you know that heading south actually means going to Torjan. When we started off with the expansion, we decided as a team to really think about how we're referencing cultures moving forward. And for those of you who may not know, the Torjan people are a real people. And they're an amazing culture. They have beautiful traditions. You should totally look it up. But for us as creatives, we want to make sure that we're always in a position where we're being inspired by, as opposed to lifting from. And so because of that, we decided to review some of our names and make some changes.
So how are we kind of doing this in game?
We've actually decided to fold it in creatively. So for those of the people who are outside of the region, maybe you were from the Dry Steppes, you know this place as Torjan. But the people who are there know it as Nahantu. And so you're going to see that folded into the story in some really creative ways to give that name some power.
Awesome. I know we have a lot of cool art to actually show, like right here, we're seeing kind of what looks to be like a river gate.
Yes, so everything starts here at the river gate. We look at Nahantu as a place that's been closed off from Sanctuary. It's been closed off from all the things that have been going on with Lilith over the last several moments of our story. And so you can imagine this monolithic statue where the doors have been closed for the last several decades, and now they're open. And we're going to see what happens with Neyrelle as she passes through these gates. If you look at this next image, we like to look at the jungle as this place that is a wild and dangerous place. We also love the idea that it's a living, breathing character of its own. It has its own personality. It expresses itself in different ways throughout the game. And so this concept is a really good example of where things from the outside may have come in, but the jungle's going to reclaim it, right? So you're going to see these branches pulling back some of the architecture that you would see through the region. But for the things that have been there all along, it's going to live symbiotically with, and so you can watch the river flow through the structures of the area as well.
You know what? This is actually one of my favorite concept pieces that we've made for the expansion so far, because even though it's an environmental scene, it really just shows the depth and scale of the jungle, which is not really like a place we've ever gone to before within Diablo IV so far. And it really inspired the team as well when they saw it, that feeling of like scale and age, I guess, is a good way to describe it.
The idea that these roots are so old that they stretch across the chasms in the area. You can see there's a very small character in the middle of that branch.
Very hard to see.
It creates a sense of scale that allows us to do a lot with the environment, right? So it's not just trees in the area. These trees are actually fixtures or structures of the place as well.
We've seen a lot of environments, and I know there's a lot of also architecture here in Nahantu. So can you show us a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, so this is a great image that starts to show how we wanted to integrate a lot of the natural features of the world in with the architecture. And so you can see how the river is flowing with and around this piece right here. All of this starts from a place called Kurast. So for those of you who've been with us for a while, Kurast is an iconic place that sits in the heart of the jungle. And it's not just a town, it's not just the capital, it's a sprawling city. So you can imagine a lot of these structural elements popping up all over the place, spreading across the entire jungle. And this is just one piece that shows the potential of that. If you take a look at this next one, I love this. This is one of my favorite concepts of the entire package. This is a perfect example on how we're folding in that living, breathing jungle into the architecture. I got to give a huge shout out to the team. The level of detail that we put into this is absolutely incredible. They pay attention to our environments just as much as one of our characters. So all the detail that we put into Lilith or Inarius is the same amount of detail as you would see in a piece like this. So big shout out to the team for what they can do.
Yeah.
So I know you shared a little bit about like Kyros, and it's a very recognizable place, like or in the Diablo history. Like, can you get into a little bit more detail for us of like some of these maybe recognizable places that we'll kind of come across?
Yeah, I love to talk about these next few concepts here. So I was a big player of Diablo II myself, so you may recognize some of these places. We keep talking about bringing you back somewhere nostalgic. So we're going to start with the dock towns. So you can visit the original Kyros docks from D2 in Act 3. And through time, it's changed. It's been 72 years since the events of Diablo 2 in the world of Sanctuary. It has been 72 years in real life. So I'm excited to jump in there and see what the denizens have been up to, see if there's anybody that's still around from the past 72 years. And like Brent and Kaylee were saying earlier, a concept piece like this really gives me this incredible sense of scale in the world of
now
Sanctuary.
speak
And
to
I'm super
Ormus.
excited to explore areas like that.
Ormus
We know
was
that
once a
locations like this
mage.
really set the tone for successfully delivering on that nostalgia and embracing that legacy of the Diablo universe. So the capital Kyros is something that we've always wanted to know more about. So this is a clip that's actually from the teaser that we've showed you a couple times now. And this is that incredible ziggurat with really, really creepy Grandpa Mephisto talking over it. So we've always wanted to know what's under this ziggurat. What's amazing about this is that for the dev team, this is one of the earliest sources of inspiration when we started working on the expansion. And so seeing it make all the way from original concept into the actual teaser that we showed this weekend is really exciting. So we've got one more really, really cool place to show you. So this is the temple city of Travancore, and it's where the Horadrim originally imprisoned Mephisto in his soul stone. It's deep inside Kyros, and I am so excited to go in there and see what's happened in the last 72 years. Joe, what do you think?
I hope I don't get slowed by hostile blizzards again. But it's going to be really cool to dive under Travancore and sort of revisit that area. It's such a memorable area from D3.
Yeah, Travancore was super memorable. Act 3, everyone remembering as they're fighting the council there. So it's great that we can revisit that here in Vessel of Hatred. And of course, a big question I know that people have with Vessel of Hatred, does that mean a new class is coming? Brent, do you have any more info that you can share potentially?
I'm sure a few of you have been on Reddit asking questions about the new class. It's the #1 question you've been getting all week. When we started off, we were still making the main game. And I'm really proud of the fact that we delivered 5 classic classes, right? We got that great feeling of all of them spread around the campfire. It felt really, really good. And so when we're talking about the expansion, we had a decision to make. We're kind of at a crossroads of, do we do another classic, or do we do something new? And the team really thought about it hard, and we felt we have a responsibility to actually bring new things to Sanctuary. Like, this game is really big, this world is very big, we need to continue to broaden it, and so we made the choice to go with something new.
So you're saying new here, and we're seeing a lot of jungle environments, obviously.
Yes.
So does that for sure rules out something like the Witch Doctor?
Yes, that for sure rules
Yeah,
out the
it's absolutely a brand new class. It is not the Witch Doctor.
All right. We've been hearing a lot of like, it might still be the Witch Doctor. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we said new class. So awesome. That was great that we got to see kind of like, and get a little bit more information about Diablo IV, Vessel of Hatred. Again, Diablo IV, Vessel of Hatred is coming out in late 2024. We'll actually have more news next summer about Diablo IV, Vessel of Hatred. Green. Green.
Green.
It's great.
Going green.
I'm glad you're color coordinated for this, Brent. So, but we do want to talk more about some of the other items that we talked about in the opening ceremony yesterday. And so Joe, I know, wants to talk a little a little bit about Season 2 and what's coming forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've had, as I said here earlier when I welcomed all of you, we've had so much community feedback, and it's been incredible for us to be able to release Season 2 and bring a lot of those changes to you. And I think we have a roadmap here. You can see here that on the Season of Blood, some of the things that we brought with Season of Blood. If you haven't played since launch or since Season 1, you'll be able to check out the new boss ladder, leveling, 40% faster leveling, right? The changes, thank you. That was all me, no. We have an incredibly talented team of system designers who care deeply about the player experience and the feeling of movement through the levels and being able to capture the objective of reaching level 100, right? And so that change was something that we thought was really important for Season 2. But we also changed things like the way that item power scales, right? So that as you fight more difficult monsters, you can get more powerful loot, including some of those uber uniques from Duriel.
Yes.
And so many other quality of life changes. The mount, I think, is transformed. And that's not all we have in store for Season 2. Like we were talking about in the opening ceremonies, we made some announcements, and we want to get into more detail about those here today. And a little bit of a sneak peek at, you can see here, Season of, I'm going to say the orange text.
Yes, that's definitely a final name.
Yeah.
Final
Ship
name. No, we're not quite ready to release the season name, but we have a sneak peek of one of the features coming with leaderboards and the gauntlets. So we're really excited to talk about those. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, so we're going to kick things off with some updates to Season 2 that are coming really, really soon. Literally, this coming Tuesday, November 7th, we are going to be adding new unique rings, which were called the Malignant Rings. Developing Seasons is an opportunity for us to look for ways to bring things back that you, our players, really enjoyed and really engaged with. It doesn't mean that we'll bring things back from every season, but we will look for opportunities, especially when the community is letting us know how much they enjoyed it, and also, we also had a lot of fun with these. This also is an opportunity for us to kind of revisit those powers, because these are coming not just onto the season, but also to the Eternal Realm. So these powers you're about to see on these rings, we've tweaked them slightly so that they work with the other uniques in the game, but we feel they're really going to add something for each class and kind of continue on building their kit and that fantasy. You're going to be able to get these by defeating Varshan, so I hope everyone's been saving their materials. You do have a little bit of time to farm more if you didn't. So yeah, with that said, we're actually going to move to the next image, and we're going to take a look at these. So I originally was going to talk to Brent about his rogue, but when we started doing this, he saw the Barbarian ring and switched on me.
I'm sorry. I
Just
through
the
whole
worst.
thing.
But so for our rogues out there, for those of you, use your subterfuge skills. It's going to spawn a decoy. It's going to taunt enemies, and then it's going to explode for a really nice amount of damage. Think you're going to have a lot of fun. Adam, this is for you and the rest of the sorcerers out there.
Yes, Ball Lightning crew. Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe this will, you'll try something a little different than just ball lightning. For the sorcerer, each unique element that you deal damage with is going to give you increased damage, and then dealing elemental damage again is just going to refresh that duration. So sling fireballs, lightning ball as well, and keep increasing that damage. We have 3 more classes to take a look at. So next up now is the Barbarian. So for our Barbarians out there, when you use, there you are, I knew you were out there somewhere. When you next cast Hammer of the Ancients, Upheaval, or Death Blow, it's guaranteed to be a crit. And that crit's gonna deal bonus critical strike damage as well.
What?
Exactly, so hit them hard and hit them often, guys. And I definitely know there's a few druids out there, you guys who don't want to forget about you, exactly.
Oh, Druid's got the loudest crowd here.
I know, represent druids. So for druids, when you are casting your ultimate skill, it is going to draw enemies in, and deal a huge amount of damage based on your willpower. It will do that when you cast your ultimate and then 5 seconds after. And then lastly, the Necromancer.
Necromancers, rise up! That's right.
There's actually 3 Necromancers up here because 3 of us are playing it this season. Total coincidence. So we all love this power, and we know everybody else loved this, so we are bringing back that walking near your corpses is going to automatically activate one of the following skills, which is Corpse Tendrils, Corpse Explosion, or Raised Skeleton. So yeah, that is, that's going to be the Malignant Rings, and as we said, you're going to be able to get them from Killing Varshan starting on November 7th, so next week, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaylee. And again, we're super excited about bringing in these malignant powers from season 1. Thanks to community feedback and you guys actually wanting these powers back in, we were able to get these in these new rings that will be coming out on Tuesday. And again, patch notes actually are going to be available on Diablo4.com for that patch immediately after this panel, so you guys can actually see what's in that update for players on Tuesday, which is awesome to see. So, but we do also have some more information to talk about.
Even more stuff.
Yes, we have some more events taking place in early December. Kaylee is going to jump right in.
I'll kick us off. Yeah, December 5th is our next update for season 2. And we've got some additional updates coming in, some quality of life things, and then something Joe is going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about some additional changes to the Occultist. Chris mentioned this yesterday in opening ceremony. So for those of you who may not know, enchanting is what allows you to replace an affix on an item with another. And those that are familiar with it will notice when you go and visit from December 5th, there is a new view affix, possible affixes button. I can't remember it, yeah. View possible affixes. And when you click on that, it's going to give you a list of the affixes that one could roll into. So that way you're not kind of just blindly guessing and hoping that the one you've picked is going to give you. We think this update, along with the gold changes we have made, is really going to help everybody optimize their builds and continue to have fun in the end game. We have also heard feedback about affixes and how some of them aren't serving you in the ways you want. We do have plans to talk about both changes to affixes and itemization in the future, but we're not quite ready to talk about it right now.
Yeah, that's right. This is a really important change, and itemization is one of the, itemization and endgame are the 2 things that we're laser focused on right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about that right up here next with Avatar Zir.
Yeah, and you know, it's awesome to see these occultist changes because obviously community feedback has been, we've heard you guys like that it, you know, blindly choosing different affixes has been very, very difficult, but with the changes with the cost plus this will be much better, and this update, of course, hitting on December 5th. But other feedback that we've heard a lot about, and Joe knows this as well, has been about endgame. And so I know you wanted to talk a little bit about a new kind of endgame feature that's coming in season 2. So Joe, yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, so we want to add more endgame, and then we want to add some more endgame, and then
Some more?
we're going to add more endgame.
Yeah, we're going to add some more after
That's
that.
right.
Okay,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And in particular, permanent or evergreen endgame features that extend the challenges and reward opportunities from 50 to 100 and after you've reached 100. And so Avatar of Zir is a 100 plus new thing that we're trying here. This is a seasonal endgame event. So it's temporary, and we're really interested in paying attention to how all of you run through it and your feedback on it to, for the future of, you know, maybe we'll bring it back. We'll see how it goes. But you probably want to know more about it than just staring at this red portal, right? So, you know, we have a chart that used to be on a napkin, but
It's very beautiful.
This is, when you work with a bunch of designers, they like to make these little flow charts, and then they hand them to you on a napkin, and they go, can you make them pretty so we can show them to people?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah,
designer flow charts.
paint for life. But so you can see here how the flow of Avatar of Zir will work. After you complete the final step of the season journey, you'll be ready to face off against the avatar. And this is a very, very difficult area. You're going to need to bring all of your skill, but also you're going to need to bring the very best builds. Not every build is going to be able to succeed in Avatar Zero. And that's why it's positioned like after you've really you've defeated Echo of Lilith, you've defeated Duriel, you've got your Uber Uniques, and you're like, what's next? What's the next challenge, right? And the Avatar is meant to be that. So you're going to get a recipe for the first tier of Avatar Zero. When you complete that first tier, you're going to get a recipe for the next tier. And I want to state that there are 25 tiers of Avatar Zero. And that's fewer tiers than there are of Nightmare Dungeons. But each tier of the Avatar is much more difficult than the tier before. This is not the same as Nightmare Dungeon 70 to 71. And you're also going to get a ton of Paragon Glyph XP. So I know some people have expressed that it can be hard to level up all your glyphs through Nightmare Dungeons, that you're going to get so much from this event. And you're going to need it because you're going to want to level up this new unique glyph that you can get as a reward for completing the Avatar. This glyph, the Tears of Blood, is tied to the event and is also persists during the duration of the event. But it will be incredibly useful for increasing your character power so that you can take on those tougher tiers of the Avatar. You can see that it has a larger radius than other glyphs. It can grow even beyond that. It has multiplicative powers on it, and it can be leveled up to 200 times. So it is still a capped level, but it has a lot of progression in it.
Awesome. Lots of stuff coming here. December 5th. We got the Occultist updates and Avatar Zero, which is the end game that we just talked about. And that will run through the end of Season 2. So players can expect, to be able to go through that starting on December 5th, which is great to hear. But we also have even more events in December that we do want to talk about. One that's a little bit more festive. We mentioned it yesterday. Kaylee, I know you want to talk a little bit about Midwinter Blight.
Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't live in California, this time of year can be darkening and colder. You might get snow, lots of rain.
Like where I'm from.
Yeah, where you're from, basically. You're going to need the winter clothing. As you return to Fractured Peaks on December 12th, where the Midwinter Blight is taking place. As you return, you're going to find that it's been enveloped in a storm. It's freezing out the locals. It's eternally dark. And there are new horrors lurking, waiting to make your lives and the inhabitants miserable. So yeah, I hope you brought some ice scrapers with you, maybe help us out here.
Yeah, we're working on a special Diablo ice scraper. Reaching out to John Mueller to see if we could get that marketed as soon as we can.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So it's going to start in Kyovashad, and you're going to meet Gillian, a wandering bard, and he's here to try and bring some cheer and warmth, which you can see in the video as we go to that. And he is located in the Hibernal Square, and he's giving as well a warning of the storm and the terrors lurking within. And as you can see, this is a classic Diablo holiday space, decorated mostly in skulls, which we find very festive on the team, personally. Yes, and at its center we have the Totem of Midwinter, which plays a part in the event itself, but I'm not going to spoil that, and we'll kind of go into that. So what's happening outside Kyovashad? You're going to head back out into Fractured Peaks, you're going to explore the zone, and you're going to encounter some sinister snowmen, or what demons consider snowmen, that we're calling Frigid Husks, which, yes, they're beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. I will note, and I don't actually know if Rod Ferguson, our GM, is here. He is making me insert this wonderful pun.
It's all Rod.
He was like, as soon as he saw him, so Rod Ferguson, trademark pun, Frosty the Goat Man is what he likes to call it.
You were meant to sing that.
Yeah,
Frosty the Goat Man was a happy, jolly soul.
Okay. All right, so who's building these? I mentioned demons, so you're going to see some familiar faces, but they're under a new allegiance. These Blight Fiends have new tricks, new ways to terrorize and harass both you and the locals. And they're just generally causing mischief and terror under the orders of their leader, who is the red-cloaked horror. He lives in the darkest corners of Fractured Peaks, emerging only with the storm. And he is going to, be really, really mad at anyone disrupting his plans, and he's going to try and make you dead. I think he looks really jolly, personally. I'm a big fan.
Again, another Rod Ferguson pun.
Here we go.
And this one I will sing. I will.
Okay.
Rudy the Red Cloak Terror.
Oh, God.
There we go. All right, just leaving now. We're done.
He doesn't even have a nose.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I know. Rod has the worst puns. We know that.
Okay,
So.
all right. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be heading out into Fractured Peaks. So we're going to bring up a video with some of the kind of gameplay a little bit here. You're going to encounter the Blight Fiends, having a really jolly time.
They are
there they
cute.
are. They are.
This is the cutest little,
Yeah, well, we're going to
them
ruin their
You
day.
murder them.
Yes, exactly.
Snow globe of these.
Murder, destroy those snowmen. And you're going to engage
Goat
in a
man,
number of
thank you very
events that are
much.
unique to Midwinter Blight, destroy Frigid Husk, defeat the Blight Fiends, and if you disrupt things enough, you may end up summoning the Red-Cloaked Horror himself, who's, as I said, very annoyed at you. And participating in these is going to give you resources that you can take back to the Hibernal Square to progress the event, and
And some rewards.
Right, the rewards, because what's a festive event without presents and gifts and, things in general? So we have a number of new cosmetic rewards that you'll be able to earn through participating on the event itself. So these are selection of weapons, and then we also have some really cool back trophies. I really like them. They've got bells, and there's some wreaths and lots of skulls, because we do like that here. We have a theme, and we're going to stick to it. So this starts on December 12th. Really hope everyone comes and slays with us.
Yes.
There we
There
go.
you go. Got one.
Slay.
There we go. Yeah, did it. Yeah, so,
They clapped for it. Good.
I was not expecting that, actually. But that's Midwinter Blight.
Awesome. It's great to hear more information about all these updates coming in. And Midwinter Blight's great because community feedback has been, we've heard a lot of people wanting more cosmetic options. And so now you have the ability of actually unlocking some skulls, some bells, some holly that you can actually incorporate to your character with Midwinter Blight. But all this information is going to be available again on a blog on Diablo4.com after the panel. And we're looking forward to getting all these updates in everyone's hands for Abattoir Zir, the Occultist updates, and of course Midwinter Blight. But moving on, we do have additional information to talk about Season of the Orange Text, as you called it.
That's right.
Joe. So Joe, can you tell us a little bit more about what's coming there?
Yeah, so more endgame.
More in-game.
Yeah. This is such a cool piece. This is relevant to the season, and I'm excited to find out what happens with this guy. But I want to talk a little bit about one part of season 3, and there will be many more parts of season 3. We're going to talk about these more in future Campfire Chats. But we wanted to talk a little bit about leaderboards, leaderboard-driven trials.
He wants it.
This guy wants
Okay,
it,
over
and so
there.
we're going to make it.
Thanks, Guy.
We weren't going to make it, but. And so the way this is going to work is when Season 3 players reach World Tier 4, they're going to be able to compete in the Gauntlet, which is a fixed seed, non-linear dungeon where your mastery and your skill are going to be needed to achieve the highest scores. And those best scores are going to appear on the leaderboards. Now, every time you enter the Gauntlet, it's going to be exactly the same. That means the monsters and their positions, the layouts, the affixes. And because it's nonlinear, you have some choices about how you're going to progress through to maximize your score. And of course, if you're playing in a party, you can choose like which direction each party member is going to go, and you really have an opportunity to optimize it. Loot will drop at the end of the timer, so you don't have to worry about picking it up on the way. And as you're killing monsters and you're opening chests, you're going to get instead these pickups called Proofs of Might. They drop from all of this types of content, and you'll have a limited amount of time to collect as many as possible to maximize your score. So at the beginning of each week, a new gauntlet is going to replace the current one, and the leaderboards will reset. Now, this is an image of the solo barbarian ladder we can see here. I want to caution that it is in development content, so some things may change by the time we get to season 3. But we wanted to show off, to really give all of you an idea, a visual idea of like how this is going to play out. And you can also see on this next image that we have a number of filters. So there are solo leaderboards for each class, as well as party leaderboards that vary with party size. Of course, hardcore leaderboards. And then when you look at the leaderboards, you'll be able to filter them globally or by platform. You can filter by your friends or your clan.
So I know I'm better than Brent.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm right here. You don't have to talk to me. If you played Barb, you would be able to.
ooh.
It's fair. Necros are better.
That's why we
all
have
know
the
it.
Barb leaderboard. So, I mentioned that these leaderboards will reset every week, but the very best players from each week's leaderboard are going to be recorded in the Hall of Ancients. This is a permanent leaderboard that will cement their legacy. And you don't just have to be the very top ranking on the leaderboards to participate in the gauntlet. All World Tier 4 players will be able to take their shot at participating in the gauntlet and progressing to the leaderboard.
So that means you don't have to be level 100 to participate at all.
No, you don't. In fact, if you look at this wonderful UI that we have up here, you can see that as you're leveling up and competing in the gauntlet and getting higher and higher score, you'll earn these seals. And as you are earning these seals, you'll be able to climb up until eventually you get to the seal of the worthy, and then you'll be able to jump into the leaderboard. And you can show these off on your character profile in game.
Awesome. Very cool. And then I know with leaderboards, that coming in season 3, with all the information that we've been sharing here, again, I'm just reminding everyone that you can end up checking all this out on the site afterwards. We'll have all the artwork up there. And of course, all the information that we provided even on the expansion stuff will end up being there. And I just want to remind everyone in the community that thanks to you guys and the feedback that we've actually gotten in for Diablo 4, we've been able to, we were able to get all these amazing changes in. So providing that feedback through our forums, through social media, through Reddit, wherever you post at, let us know. Even here at Blizzcon, it's a huge help for the whole entire team. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Diablo community, for making the game a better experience for everyone. I know we do have some time for Q&A as well. We did leave a question box out in Hall A, which is the Diablo Hall here at Blizzcon. And then, of course, we asked on social media for questions through our fans that could not attend BlizzCon. But we grabbed the ones that seem to be pretty regular repeats specifically. So we'll kind of just jump right in on them. The first question, I think this one would be good for Kaylee. Will there be more intermediate progression dungeons and bosses between Tier 4 and Uber Lilith?
Yeah, so we had this question a bit, and the short answer is yes. We've already started doing this with the boss ladder, Uber Duriel, and we're looking for even more opportunities with which to give everybody things to tackle as they're working their way towards Uber Lilith, as well as, things for people to pursue once they defeat Uber Lilith. So yes, and as we develop those, we will share more information, probably in more Campfire Chats or on Diablo4.com.
Awesome, thank you, Kaylee. This one's an expansion question. Okay. So Brent, I will give this over to you. Will there be a season journey when expansion launches?
Yeah, we know we have a large community with players who like to play in a bunch of different styles. So when Vessel of Hatred launches, we're going to have stuff for Eternal players. We're going to have seasonal content. We're going to have people who want to continue to play vanilla, people who want to jump into the expansion. Basically, we're going to have something for everybody to have fun with.
Cool. Thank you, Brent. Tiffany, this one for you. Will we have a system to save and switch between builds? A very popular question.
Very popular question.
So the reason Adam says this is a great question for me is because I ask Joe this all the time. It's something I'm also very, very passionate, myself and lots of the development team and lots of the community is very passionate about. So for those of you that played Diablo 3, are very familiar with the Armory. This is something that we brought to the game in patch 2.5. And so we've been talking about it for a very long time. There's so many different things, so many activities, like so much room for activities in Sanctuary, and so many different things to be doing, whether you're playing by yourself, playing with a group, PvP, et cetera, et cetera. There's Paragon board customization, there's build customization, there's outfit customization, what gear you're wearing. So we want to be able to have an easy way to switch between those so you can keep playing and keep min-maxing all of your experiences while you're in the game. So we have nothing to announce in terms of when it's coming, but it's something that we're talking about all the time and hoping to bring to Diablo 4 as soon as we possibly can.
Awesome. I know it's a thing that a lot of people in the community have been asking for, and being able to switch between different builds and everything and have that saved. It's something that the team most definitely is working on. Next question we have is from someone who's actually attending here at BlizzCon and is actually a content creator, was in our opening ceremony as well.
In the opening ceremony reel.
From Don the Crown, and I think he actually made like a decision to come to BlizzCon like 24 hours before BlizzCon started.
So he could be here right now.
He could be here right
I just
now.
really wanted to ask this question.
Yes, exactly. But I will say this question also came from a lot of people. But Don the Crown asked, do you intend to add more sources of living steel to the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that grinning demon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah.
No, it's, that particular summoning material, we've certainly heard and experienced doing HellTides feels much more stingy than the other summoning materials. And so we want to make some improvements there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so expect improvements coming down the pipe for that. And by the way, I just want to thank everyone for not putting your names in the box, because I would have completely screwed up half the names in there, as I normally do. So I appreciate people who do not put their names on there. You're the best. Last thing I need to do is butcher that in front of like 5,000 people. Will the expansion feature a group finder or global chats? As social features, I know we've heard a lot of questions about. Brent?
Yeah. Social's a really big part of the game, and we see what everybody's doing with how they're leveraging trade chat to kind of work around some things. Our social team finds this incredibly important, right? Like, we got a lot of different ways to play the game, and we want to make sure that all of your communities can find each other and come together. And so we actually have to really get some tools in there to get to that point where everybody has a really smooth social experience. And so our goal is to make sure that we get as many of those tools in place before we actually get to the expansion.
Yeah, and I really want to make a special call out to, we have an entire part of our team who are focused on social and the player experience, and they are so dedicated and so enthusiastic and are just amazing people to work with, and they're paying attention to the things that everybody's talking about and need, and trying to figure out the best plan to get those kind of things to you in the best time frame.
Awesome. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Kaylee. And then we have a kind of a last question here. This is from Knox, wherever you are here at BlizzCon. What are your plans? There we go.
There he is.
We found him. What are your plans for itemization moving forward? A very, very popular question.
All right.
The question.
The question for Joe Shelley.
Yes.
Do we have a panel after this, or? No, this is a very serious and important question, right? And while we're not ready to share all of the plans for itemization that we have going forward, the team is working on the problems that we see with itemization right now, right? I think I was watching, was a Carbot video, I think, recently. And,
shout out to Carbot. Love his
you get, the character gets 2 items, and they're trying to compare it, and pulls out his sort of monocle, and he's going through it. It's too difficult right now to compare items. It takes a lot of time, and we want to make that better. We also want there are some affixes that are very conditional or have several layers of conditionality. Yeah. Sometimes this gets, shorthand for this is a damage on Tuesdays, right? Like, Yeah, I'm really good on. It's a couple days from now, it'll be incredible. But we think that there are too many of those that have really complicated conditional effects, and it's really hard to bring those into builds, and it contributes, as Kaylee was saying earlier, to a feeling of having it be very difficult to customize your items in a way that lets you get exactly the affixes that you want on your build.
Get that build you're looking for, you know?
Exactly. So that's something that we want to review. We also know that when you are optimizing your gear, the goal of that is to have the effect be that you feel that power. So you are customizing your gear, and then you go out and you want to be able to visually tell immediately, like, yeah, this made a difference, right? And then, of course, we also want to add more ways to modify items and add on additional complexity to items, through. This is often talked about in the context of crafting, right? Better ways to modify items in that way. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm going to throw another question at you, though, because there has been a lot of talk about the amount of aspects that are within the game. And so, do we have any plans on what we like for aspects specifically?
Yeah, so it's going to take us a little bit of time to get this right. Probably won't see it in season 3, but soon after that. But we want to get the aspect crystals out of your inventory and into the Codex of Power.
Woo! I think they agree with that. I think they quite like that.
I'm glad. We're starting work on it right now, so we'd have to go back. But no, the Codex of Power is really a great repository of all of the legendary powers, or it should be, we think. And there are lots of opportunities for upgrading it or bringing affixes that you found, and we just really want to make that better. Yeah.
Great. That's awesome to hear. I know a lot of people are excited to have an area where all their aspects are, as opposed to where we are right now with collecting everything for aspects and having your inventory kind of running back to the stash and putting them all in there and everything. So there we have it for the Diablo IV Campfire Chat. We do have a lot of awesome things coming down the road. And I do want to remind everyone that this Tuesday, we have an update with 5 new Malignant rings that will be hitting the game. You can farm Varshan to earn those rings specifically. And those rings are in Eternal and Seasonal, which is great to hear as well.
There you go,
And then,
Keith.
of course, on December 5th, we have our Abattoir of Zir.
Yeah.
Google Abattoir if you don't know what that is. I did.
It's a slaughterhouse.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Cultured Adam. And then we also have Cultist updates hitting on December 5th. And of course, December 12th, we have our first holiday event hitting Diablo IV, which is Midwinter Blight, where players can actually end up earning a ton of different new cosmetics. Dress your character up in some bells, some wreaths, holly, etc.
Get very festive. Yeah.
Exactly, get very festive. And I did want to remind everyone that we do have a Diablo Blood drive that is currently running. If you go to DiabloBloodHarvest.com, currently the community is at 73% to the goal. Once we hit 100%,
Good job, everyone.
Everyone gets some rewards. Good job.
Great cause as well.
It's for an awesome cause. We're aiming to have 666 quarts of blood donated.
Of course we are.
So of course, gotta stay with the theme. So make sure to check out the site for more information. Panelists, do you have any parting words?
Thank you for coming to BlizzCon and watching online. We love Diablo and we love you.
I can't wait to get back in front of everybody here and have more to talk about with the expansion in the future. So I look forward to seeing you all in Sanctuary.
I just want to thank all of our passionate players, and we listen to everything that you're saying, and it's been so awesome to reveal Season of Blood and be able to bring some of those changes back, and then to come here and to be able to tell you about all the things that are more things that are coming in Season of Blood and in future seasons and in Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah, Drew.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for making this an amazing experience to be up here. Also, hi, Mum and Dad, surprise. Yes, I'm on the panel. I didn't tell them. But I mostly want to call out our amazing team, who many of them are working here at BlizzCon, who you may have met down in Hall A, they're doing signing, and everyone who's is actually still back at the office, or, well, would be, it's the weekend, they're not working. But everyone across all the spaces that we have and across the team in general.
Awesome. And I just want to thank everyone here. Thank you guys, everyone here, everyone at home. We hope you guys have had a wonderful BlizzCon. We're so happy to have you here, and we hope you guys come see us while BlizzCon's still going on for the rest of the day. And we'll see you in the next Campfire Chat. We'll have more Campfire Chats this year. And have an amazing BlizzCon, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you in Sanctuary.
Thank you.
All right, so I kind of wrote down everything. Let's talk about these rings and stuff. Let's have some fun with this. I think this is over. We'll keep it up on the screen here for a second. So we got a lot of stuff that they talked about. I kind of like took notes here. So first off, Mephisto confirmed. They confirmed Mephisto completely. So even if we didn't already have him confirmed, he is now confirmed. I'll go ahead and close this out here. On top of this, we have Kurast confirmed. So Kurast has been confirmed. They also confirmed Travancore, and they also confirmed going underneath of Travancore. So that was nice. We also have the story that's telling us that Nerel is following the Prophet of Light. Apparently, we will be able to skip directly to the new chapter, Neratu. And that is the new zone. So the new zone is Neratu, and inside of Neratu is Kurast Docks. The people in that area are going to be called the Torajan. Apparently that's based off of real people that actually exist in the real world. And we were encouraged to look those guys up, which I did a little earlier. It's going to be closed off from Sanctuary, basically, until we get access to it. So we're going to get access to it, and then all of a sudden, bam, we're going to have, you're going to be able to enter the entire region. So that's why we're locked out right now. There's also going to be the original Kurast Dock town from Diablo 2, apparently, but it's going to be 72 years later, so it's probably going to be a little rundown. Patch 1.22 is going to come out on November 7th. That's coming pretty darn soon, so 4, 5, 6, 7. They said some of the details would be available on the Diablo News website, which we'll take a look and see. I don't see anything on there just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that. They talked about the class-specific malignant rings, and killing Varshan will drop the rings. So everybody's going to want to save up your Varshan mats to farm these rings. It's going to be eternal and seasonal. Adam clarified that. The rings are going to be the Necromancer Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul. The Rogue is going to get the Writhing Band of Trickery. The Barbarian is the Ring Red of Fervor. The Druid is the Arada's Inexorable Will, Talrasha's Iridescent Loop, and we can actually take a look at these. I got screenshots from the live stream. Let's take a look at these right now. So the Writhing Band of Trickery. This is the Rogue ring, and it looks like it's got crit strike chance, crit strike damage, damage to crowd controlled enemies, and life, which isn't bad. It's going to be running shadow resistance and all res, and then it has casting a subterfuge skill leaves behind a decoy trap that continuously taunts and lures enemies. The decoy trap explodes after 3 seconds, dealing 8,143 shadow damage. Can occur only once every 12 seconds. This is that really nice pull-in skill that was during the Malignant. I think a lot of people liked this one. The decoy trap was pretty amazing. Talrash's Iridescent Loop looks like it's going to be non-physical damage, lucky hit, resource regeneration, and cooldown reduction. No crit on that, but still a pretty sick ring. For each type of elemental damage you deal, gain 15 times multiplier, increased damage for 4 seconds. Dealing elemental damage refreshes all bonuses. Interesting. The ring shifts and spins on your finger as the forces within desperately attempt to escape. Fool said he dug it out of the sands near Lut Gholein with a few other worthless trinkets. I hid my delight at receiving such a treasure in exchange for a meager handful of coins or con. This one seems absolutely ridiculously powerful. It says for each element damage type, so I'm assuming you could multiply this by 3, so cold, fire, and lightning. So you'd get a total of 15, 15, 15, so 45% multiplier there just for cycling 3 elements, which seems pretty easy to do. I mean, you could run Firebolt as your main, and then run like cold or lightning as your, your main core skill, and then you could throw in something else. I mean, Frost Nova is pretty popular, so I imagine one of the easiest builds would be Firebolt, Frost Nova, and some lightning, like maybe Chain Lightning or something like that, depending on her Ball Lightning, which is really popular this season. Next one. So we got the Ring of the Red Führer. This one is the Barbarian one, and the Barbarian one, it seems absolutely insane. Hammer of the Ancients, Upheaval, and Deathblow are all ridiculous this season. And dear Lord Jesus, I don't know what to say. People are already hitting for like hundreds of millions of damage with Upheaval, Hammer of the Ancients, and Deathblow. And this is basically going to be a guaranteed critical strike that deals 30 times bonus critical strike damage. So after spending 100 Fury within 3 seconds, your next cast of Hammer of the Ancients, Upheaval, or Deathblow get a huge bonus, which means we're going to see even higher ridiculous numbers for the Barbarian. It also runs with Strength, Attack Speed, Maximum Fury, which is a really good one for Fury builds like Hoda, and then Resource Regeneration. Anger brings strength, but clouds the mind. You must learn to focus your fury, direct it with purpose. Keep our sacred duty at the forefront of your mind always. Talic to Madoc. Erida's Inexorable Will. Ancestral Ring. This is the Druid one. The Druid one, I was actually called this one earlier. It's the pull-in. The pull-in one was really popular on the Druid. It's the one when casting an ultimate skill, and again, after 5 seconds after, you pull in distant enemies and deal 2,484 physical damage to them. This damage is increased by 1 times per point of willpower you have. This is the one that a lot of Druids were using in Season 1 because it could just pull everything in. It was great. And all you had to do was just cast your ultimate. That's it. You just cast your ultimate, pulls everything in, and then bam, you can just like murder everything with whatever big AoE attack or whatever other ability you have to hit them for really hard. This one's kind of insane. If you didn't use this one in Season 1, I might recommend that you give this one a try. It also rolls with 9.3% willpower, which is kind of crazy. The percent bonuses only appear on amulets, so the fact that there's a percent bonus on there for a main stat seems kind of insane. It also has damage to close, lucky hit, and ultimate skill cooldown reduction, so that's really interesting. And then we have Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul. This is the Necromancer one. So the Necromancer one is a popular one from Season 1. This is the one where basically it would automatically cast the corpse-related abilities for you. Thank you for the subscription, Profix. This one is Ray Skeleton every 1 second. It goes from 2 to 1. Corpse Explosion every 1 second. Goes from 2 to 1. And Corpse Tendrils every 8 seconds. Goes from 16 to 8. It's actually pretty nice. Comes with 10.8% lucky hit chance. Not bad. Rolls of 13.5. Of course, these might be higher once we upgrade them, by the way. So keep that in mind. Pretty decent amount of life there. 1,211 on the max life is kind of insane. 14 on the maximum essence, which makes it really good for Bone Spear Necromancer, as well as, well, just about any of the Necromancer. But Bone Spear really gets the biggest benefit from that. Corpse Explosion Necromancers get a really big benefit from that, too, if you're utilizing things like Edge Masters. Well, they don't really get Ramalodnes, but eh. And then, of course, you also get +3 ranks of all corpse skills, which probably upgrades to 4. I would assume that when you upgrade that 5 times, it would upgrade to 4. Which that's pretty powerful as well. The mere proximity of a practitioner of such dark arts can rouse the dead and disturb those souls who have earned their rest. And I didn't know if I read the Druid one. When I was born, I breathed in the wind and the storm, and they gave me life. When I die, I will breathe out and return that gift to the skies. These rings seem really powerful. I think these are going to be really popular. He also talked about the Abattoir of Zir, which is coming apparently the same time that the Malignant Rings are coming. And this is going to be a 100-plus seasonal event. He did say that this was going to end with the season. And depending on our community feedback, whether or not we actually like it or not, it may or may not stay around. So it looks like you're not going to get access to Abattoir of Zir on the Eternal Realm. But if it ends up being good, then maybe. He did say there was going to be 25 tiers of Abattoir of Zir, and it was going to be a pretty tough event. I mean, they talked about it as an After Lilith event. And basically how it works is you have to complete Tier 1 to get to Tier 2, Tier 2 to Tier 3, Tier 3 to Tier 4. And he did say that it wasn't going to be a gradual climb. He said Tier 1 was going to be, like a set difficulty, and then Tier 2 might be like 3 or 4 times the difficulty of Tier 1, and so forth and so on. So the tiers may be less gradual than we think. You might be at like Tier 10, and you might do Tier 10 to just fine, and then you go to Tier 11 from what he's saying, and you're like, oh man, Tier 11 is just too much. I can't handle this. And you got to go upgrade your equipment or get some more damage reduction or something. It sounds like it's going to be fun. There was an entire chart that he pulled up, and I can pull that up on the screen here. This is the Season of the Blood Abattoir of Zir journey. So, player completes the final season journey. Player is given a recipe to create a blood-forged sigil, Tier 1. Player uses and crafts the blood-forged sigil and completes the Tier 1 dungeon. The Tier 1 dungeon will drop the new Paragon glyph if they don't already have it, and the new Paragon glyph is this one, which is the Tears of Blood, which seems absolutely insane, and I think pretty much everybody's going to be using this glyph. It just seems broken, like absolutely broken. It says, for every 5 core stats purchased within range, you gain 2 times increased damage, which basically means you're just going to stack out all of the core stats within range. Just every single one. You're going to get a ton. And if it's 5 for 2%, I mean, I could pull up a quick image of a, let's do this real quick. Diablo 4 life. Let's pull up a build database real quick, and let's just get an idea of how much of a multiplier that would be. So let's just use this one right here, right in the beginning. So if we were to throw it right here, and let's say we are a barbarian or a rogue. Okay, so we're a rogue. So it would be dexterity. We can get 10, and I can put a dexterity node here real quick. There we go. It'll count it up for me. So let's just go ahead and just stack all this out. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. Let's just grab every single point here. And for your beginner node, we're looking at 70 dexterity. So 70 divided by 5. That's 14 times 2, which means you're going to have a 28 times multiplier. They did say we're going to be able to upgrade it, which is nuts. Also, the other problem is that we have a 50-plus bonus to all rare nodes within range, which may or may not go up to 150% like all the others. So we're looking at a situation here where the bonus here is going to increase the total multiplier that we're going to get. So we have 2 rare nodes within this section that have 10 each, which means we're going to get, what is that? Let's say if it goes up to 150%. So we have 20 plus 150%. Which means that's going to give us an additional 30 on top of it. So we take that 30, divide by 5, multiply by 2, add 28, and now we're looking at a 40 times multiplier. So a 40 times multiplier within range. It's going to be a pretty insane gem. Now, they did also say that this gem can be leveled up 200 times. That the level cap on this gem was going to be level 200. So not like the other glyphs that have a level range of 15. This one is going to be 200, level 200, which is nuts. Yeah, we don't even know exactly what this could potentially mean for how much effectiveness this gives. And it sounds to me like this gem is nutso, and they're probably going to end up nerfing it because it looks absolutely insane. So after you complete Tier 1, you get access to Tier 2, which will upgrade and will give out lots of normal Glyph EXP. And then we're going to go to Tier 3 and so forth and so on, and apparently it just continues this loop constantly. So you just constantly, you defeat Tier 1, it brings you to Tier 2, you defeat Tier 2, it brings you to Tier 3, and so forth and so on until eventually you can get to Tier 5. Apparently there's going to be lots of Glyph EXP coming from these new dungeon, this new event, so we're going to have some fun playing around with that. Abattoir of Zir should be coming at the same time as the new rings, so in 1.22 on November 7th. We got tons of stuff to go over here. The Enchanting preview window, they did show some images of that, so we can talk about that as well. I've got the window here. Basically at the bottom of the window, it's just going to have a view possible affixes right here. So once you hit this view possible affixes, it's going to bring up this window, and it's going to tell you potentially what you can get for re-rolling. So right here you can see that we have chosen 4% healing received, and you can potentially re-roll to dexterity, damage after dodging, dodge chance, dodge at close enemies, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned, damage for 4 seconds after killing an elite, imbuement skill reduction cooldown, and ranks of concealment. So we know exactly what we can get for re-rolling this slot, which is really going to be helpful because there are some cases where when you try to re-roll something, you have absolutely no possibility of getting the thing you want. A lot of people don't know this, but especially with amulets, passive skills, there are certain things that are linked together. It's hard to know exactly what's going on because when you choose a specific thing to re-roll, you may not be getting the results that you want. This is at least going to tell us 100% for sure that we actually do have a possibility to get the effect that we're looking for, which is very nice. Let's do a refresh on this page real quick and see if they pulled up anything. Nothing yet. They talked about the Midwinter Blight in Fracture Peaks, which is going to be coming on December 12th. That's going to be a Christmas event. Apparently, it's going to start from a NPC named Jillian the Bard in Hibernal Square. There's going to be some sort of totem of winter that we're going to have to interact with, according to them. There's going to be a new monster called the Sinister Snowman. They called them Frosty the Goat Man. And I totally wanted to sing the song right in the middle of the campfire chat. That's right. Frosty the Goat Man, he's got an ugly skull. And apparently there's going to be some sort of boss type monster named Rudy the Red Cloak Terror, they called him, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm sure that's not his actual real name, but his name is Rudy. This event is apparently going to be going on in Fractured Peaks for quite some time during the Christmas event, so we'll look forward to that. That's coming pretty soon. Season 3, Season of the Orange Text, they didn't actually have a name for it. They talked about more endgame. They talked about leaderboards, weekly challenges, dungeons, as well as the Gauntlet and the Hall of the Ancient. And they actually did show us a picture of the leaderboard, which was here. So this is apparently the Solo Barbarian Ladder, Season of Redacted. They don't even have the name of the season there because it's not written yet. And it has your rank, your score. According to what they said, we're going to be collecting this thing called the Proofs of Might, which apparently dropped from the monsters. The Proofs of Might that we collect are equivalent to the score that we have in the dungeon. So more proofs equals a higher score. And this means that we're going to end up with, trying to collect as many as we possibly can to get access to the Proofs of Might. And then obviously getting our score up on the leaderboard. And he did have a picture of the leaderboard as well, which is right here. And you can see that there's the level of the character, the score, and the date. And then it has like the top 10 right here. It also has categories. So you got Barbarian, Druid, Necromancer, Rogue, and Sorceress. And then there's also hardcore and non-hardcore, as well as global. And there's going to be a lot. There's also last week. So he said specifically that the Gauntlet was going to change every single week. So every week the gauntlet will reset and all of the scores will reset and everybody can go again trying to get to the next, the top 10, or maybe you're trying to get the top spots. But whatever it will be, it's going to change. Now, one thing that he did say was that inside the actual gauntlet, everything will be exactly the same. So you can learn it, figure out where all the monsters are, plan an optimal route through the gauntlet to try and get things done as quickly as possible, which, of course, it's probably going to feel an awful lot like, and I'm going to use an old example here. Do you guys remember in CSGO, when it came out, they had a training grounds, and people would spend a long time on the CSGO training grounds trying to get like the highest score or the fastest score that they possibly could inside the training grounds? It's kind of the same thing. The training grounds doesn't change. The position of the enemies don't change. The time doesn't change. It's the same exact dungeon every single time. You go through it, you try and kill everything as fast as you possibly can to get the highest score you possibly can, and then show it off to your friends, and then they say they don't care because they're not into that, and they're not competing. But then they're still jealous anyway, right? So, the season and the new expansion apparently will collide. So they talked about that. There's going to be a new expansion. The new expansion is called the Visions of Hatred. That's not coming till next year. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I don't want you to get confused, guys, because the expansion stuff that I talked about earlier, Mephisto, Kuros, the Travancore, that is not coming until 2024. Sometime late 2024 is what they said. That is part of the expansion. The Malignant Rings, the Abattoir of Zir, that's all coming very, very soon on November 7th. The Christmas event is December 12th. The Enchanting preview window is going to be December 5th. All this stuff is coming up pretty fast. They asked a bunch of questions as well. Let me see if I can go over these real quick. Is there going to be an armory for Diablo 4? Kind of a vague answer. They were like, yes, eventually. That was kind of the answer they gave. That yes, they would eventually be planning on putting an armory in Diablo 4, but they didn't give a specific date, and they made it seem like it wasn't coming anytime soon. More sources of living steel. They didn't say whether or not they were going to do more sources of living steel, but they acknowledged that the living steel was definitely less prolific or available than the other sources, and that they are going to make some improvements. So that's nice. Group Finder, they kind of dodged the question completely. They gave some big long answer of like, we're doing our best to make sure people have the tools necessary to do the blah 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 blah, and it just really seemed like a dodged question to me. Same thing with Global Chat, which was part of the same question, also a dodged question. It didn't really seem like they had much of an answer for those. Personally, I don't really like group finders, so I'd be perfectly fine if they didn't add them ever. I don't think it's a good way to play games. I've played many games that have group finders, and they're very rarely pleasant experiences. Itemization plans moving forward, they pushed it off to Joe. Joe didn't really have much of an answer, although he did say that they are working on the problems, and it is apparently at the forefront of what they are doing right now. Apparently, it's literally like front and center. They've been trying to work on it for quite some time, and I can tell that they're working on it because if you haven't paid attention to the new unique items that have popped up, that I have quite a few videos on, by the way, they are much better designed than the previous unique items, which I feel like are now the old unique items and don't even really compare. Things like the Godslayer's Crown, Tybalt's Will, they are just way better designed uniques than any of the ones that we had previously, with maybe exception to Frostburns, which I think Frostburns is absolutely an excellently designed unique, as well as Fists of Fate. Those are both really crazy ones. They did promise that the aspects would eventually be out of our inventory and into the Codex of Power. This is one of the things that they went over, and they talked about it in detail. They didn't really give us a date, unfortunately, but they did tell us that eventually the Codex of Power would house our aspects. It's just a matter of time. This is another image that they shared with the seals and frames for the trials. Apparently, as you complete the trials, you get access to the Seal of the Worthy, which then allows you to have access to the leaderboard. So you can take place you can take part in the event without actually being placed on the leaderboard, and then once you reach the point where you're actually capable of doing that, you can start working on the leaderboard. You don't necessarily have to be level 100 though. From what they're saying, you can start working on these seals well before you hit level 100, and then once you end up with the final seal, the Seal of the Worthy, that allows you to have access to this, which is going to get you into the leaderboard section. They also said there was going to be a couple other events, and they didn't really go over all of them, but you can see one of them. I just closed the image. You can see one of them down at the bottom. You see it right here where it says Hall of the Ancients. This is another one of the events that they promised that would be coming. The Hall of the Ancients is a little different of an event. And in fact, if you go back to my little thing here, they talked about several events during Season 3. So, leaderboards, weekly challenge of Dungeon, the Gauntlet, and then the Hall of the Ancients is it's a separate little thing, apparently. This should be interesting. It's just more endgame stuff to do. And they seem to be trying to add a bunch more endgame things. I mean, the Abattoir of Zir is an endgame event, but then the Abattoir of Zir is apparently seasonal, and it may or may not continue into the next season. So we'll have to find out whether that's any good or not. And then, of course, the new seasonal events, we don't know whether these are going to be permanent either. I'm assuming what's going on here is they're testing the waters. They're testing the waters. They're trying to figure out what is good, what is not good, and see if we like the things, the ideas that they're coming up with, right? Like, take the Malignant Rings. The Malignant Rings are the easiest example of this, is that they basically made powers or unique items out of the powers that we liked, right? So we use the Malignant powers. We're like, these suck. Don't ever do this again. Or this one's just way too good. Don't ever do this one again, right? But then some of them were like, wow, these are amazing. We really like these. And so they spent some time and they crafted them into an actual item that we can use, which I think is pretty darn cool. All in all, I mean, I feel like we got a lot of crazy good stuff coming up. I mean, November 7th, we got a whole lot of stuff coming up with patch 1.22. And then we got a whole bunch more coming shortly thereafter with the December, 5th patch, and then there's a December 12th patch with the seasonal stuff. Sounds like it's going to be crazy. Let's see if they finally got some information up here. They said they were going to have it up after the Doojank. Yeah, here we go. So 1.22 build platform 46837. So they got all the Malignant Rings. We just went over all the Malignant Rings, so we don't need to go over these again. Season of Blood, the Sanguine Battery event. Pillar health increased. Some bug fixes. Let's see if there's anything actually important in here. Fix an issue where Metamorphosis would not trigger temporary movement speed bonuses. Fix an issue where the Anticipation Vampiric Power didn't display the cooldown reduction for the ultimate abilities when in town. Fix an issue where the Hectic Vampire Power did not reduce the cooldown of skills with charges. Oh, I didn't even notice that. I'm using a rogue right now, and I didn't even notice. Fix an issue where the seasonal quest Battle of Fear Faith would be completed without completing the Chapter 3 season journey. Fixed an issue where the upgrade button for the vampiric powers could be interacted with when there were no new powers available, wasting 25 blood. Fixed an issue where Lord Zero could not respawn if the player re-entered the boss arena too quickly after respawning. Fixed an issue where evade and non-damaging skills could trigger Hemomancy. I thought they already fixed that in the last patch. These are all boring. Fixed an issue where Lilith could still launch area of effect attacks after she was defeated following the first phase of Echo of Lilith. Yeah, I had that happen several times. Fixed an issue where Angel and Breath Potions could randomly spawn when the Beast in the Ice spawned. Fixed an issue where followers could get stuck when going back and forth over Traversal. Fixed an issue where Inner Sight didn't trigger properly against training dummies. Fixed an issue where the Necromancer minions and Druid companions wouldn't attack the training dummies. Screen reader fixed. Nothing too crazy here, but I mean, at least we've got the rings. So the ring stats are here, but you can also pull the, if you're in the kinship, you can just pull the pictures that I screenshotted, or you can just screenshot them off my stream if that's what you want to do. Just go back a little bit, and I'm sure you can grab them off of there. All right. So we are finished with the campfire, and I think we got a pretty decent amount of information out of this. Let's hop back into playing some Diablo, shall we? I think Mr. Nimoy has to go Peppadoodles. And let's hop into Discord and see what everybody else is saying.
Alright,
what's up, guys?
My horse. Oh no.
I'm back.
Oh no. Oh
Welcome
no.
back.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna die, boys.
Oh, he died. He's dead.
No, I didn't die.
Oh, you didn't die?
No, I got back on my horsey in time.
You're horsey, huh?
On my horsey.
All right, Mr. Nemo, you want to go back in your house?
Let's check if the top one's up.
I don't get any cinders from the HellTide boss that uses skilled.
All right, put Mr. Nemo back.
The one is up
200
over
boys.
here, Meow. The one that you pinned earlier.
What one? Oh, that
the
one.
one right by the town. Kivy Shed. The first one.
Oh, the top one?
The
Yeah.
first one, yeah, just up left. of
Oh,
Kivy
mate, this
Shed,
one's
the
up.
first
This
one.
one's up. Yeah, this one's up. Down here.
That's what I said.
Yeah. It wasn't up when I came to check it.
Yeah. It just came up as soon as I got here. It
It's
was
a
waiting
rubbish
for me.
one, but it'll do. I'm at 362. How long we got until they reset?
3 minutes.
It's rubbish. Rubbish.
Could someone
I
pin
only
where
got
that?
200.
Where's that box, guys? Could someone pin it?
The
for me?
box is really close. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
right
that's right
here.
next.
2.5 minutes to respawn.
It's just right here.
Where?
It's on me. I'm Reggie. It's you right next to it.
I don't. Oh yeah.
This is sound like a D2 launch night. You guys are going nuts in here.
I got it.
Meow's going nuts. He never gets quiet.
It's active
Hey,
tonight,
long time
boy.
no see.
I'm not that bad. Leave me be. Always picking on me.
Xylar, I'm alive for now. Did you get your druid level up for the
Oh, I need
Indies?
20 more. I need
My
20
druid's
more for this
88
death
right
boy.
now.
Oh man. So you can wear the Andes. So did you do the poison setup? Is it good? Is it fun?
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something. But I mean, I probably should go on max roll or something to.
Oh, I've
figure
got
out
enough.
a
I've
build.
got bang on 300.
I thought you were playing like shred poison.
Oh, I need 25 more in 2 minutes.
You can do that.
Oh, alright, give me 3.
I was able to
get it.
Might need assistance.
I'm kidding a lot on me. If you need
Where are
cinders,
you at?
come-
All right.
I'm
So I
blue.
need 18 in the next minute and a half.
Okay.
Someone blue, someone yellow.
All right, I'm down to.
There's some more over here. Lillian's killing some stuff, bro.
I need 12
Yeah,
more.
I killed a bunch over here.
I need 10 more.
Should be some over here, bro.
I got 52
Uh,
seconds.
There's a load on blue. If you
I
need
need
them.
6 more. Okay, a load here.
I just
Come on,
killed
horse,
more over
move.
on Lillian.
Oh, I got it.
Quick, quick,
Go,
quick,
go,
quick.
go. Because you need to. You have to
I
open
can't
it before the
I
timer.
have to kill him. Here, help me.
Hey, I
I
hit
can't,
30.
I'm level 56. I've got
I
no
have 30
damage, bro.
seconds to kill him.
Hey, I hit 30,000 subscribers. Look at me.
Grads,
You got
30,000.
that, boys.
30,000 subs.
Congratulations, bro.
Oh,
you-
with 20 seconds left, we got it.
Yeah, boy.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Uh,
Wow, that was close.
we're waiting for this event to come up over on my pin.
Ginger, you want to do some nightmare dungeons?
As soon as I get, I'm gonna do a couple things here, but yeah. I'm
Yeah, and then we're gonna be doing a bunch. Our team is gonna be doing a bunch of Durios. Whoever I think
Oh,
Luli.
Oh yeah, I
me,
want to do some
Ginger-
Durials. I want to do some Durials.
Yeah,
We're
I
waiting
would
for
like
Luli
to.
to get back.
Oh wait, it's finally not a secret anymore. They announced that they're moving the aspects into the codex. Finally, no more secrets.
I know, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yep.
What do you mean no more secrets?
they've been like tiptoeing around this issue for a while now. A lot of campfire chats, and they finally said yes. We're moving it into
They
the
finally said yes.
That's good.
We're finally doing it, guys.
It'll make life a little easier.
a little.
Level 99, meow, how much like?
It's
How
just
much
like we
100?
won't be saving those big aspects for, you know, the perfect gear. We can just use them whenever we find them.
I wonder if Luli respect his Druid's Paragon, because I sent him the message before my internet went out 4 days ago. I wonder if he ever got it done.
Did they confirm if extracting a already existing codex power will just upgrade the one that's in the codex?
They didn't confirm the details, but it's going into the codex. I don't want the upgrade crap to happen, because then it just negates finding a lot of legendaries after you find it.
Yeah.
It just should be storage, not upgrading.
I think that's the. I got the sense that that's kind of where they're going with it, but.
Oh, as a storage? All right,
This event-
this event is up.
Yep.
All right. So I've got this odd bug, guys. I'm letting you guys know this before I kill the stream. Every time I end a recording, it always kills the stream. So I'm gonna redirect you guys back to another stream. If that happens, one way or the other. One
OBS
way
doing that?
or another. The what?
OBS is doing that? Like you're recording through OBS?
Yeah, every single time I stop the recording, it's like, oh yeah, bye stream.
Go up
It's like
above
goodbye.
Ministad.
So here we go.
Let's check